those trumpets. Previously, with the trumpets, it was a third, a third, a third. Well, now everything is destroyed. So this is saying is that God is going to use natural disasters to destroy the Roman Empire. The fifth bowl is also similar to the fifth trumpet we saw earlier. It says that the bowl is poured out on the throne of the beast, his kingdom plunged into darkness. When a nation turns to wickedness and immorality, they don't last very long. And that's what happened in the Roman Empire. History documents that the Romans were very wicked and immoral. The sixth bowl is also similar to the sixth trumpet we saw earlier, that poured out on the Euphrates River. It says the water was dried up. So once again, God is going to have these outside people, these barbarians, these Goths, Visigoths, come in and attack the Roman Empire. And that is one of the reasons the Roman Empire fell, was from these attacks from the outside. Okay, then we have an interlude, and we have the evil spirits that look like frogs that come out of the mouths of the dragon and the beast and the false prophet, and they do battle at Armageddon. Now, this Armageddon is probably referring to the hill of Megiddo, and you can see that here on the slide where it's located in Israel. Now, here, Megiddo is the Hebrew form of Armageddon, and Megiddo is near the valley of Jezreel. And in the Old Testament, there were many battles that were fought in the valley of Jezreel. Deborah and Gideon fought battles there. Saul and Jonathan met their deaths there. King Ahaziah, King Josiah also met their deaths near here. So this Armageddon, or this Megiddo, represents a place of great and decisive battles. It represents a symbol for a last-ditch stand. It's kind of like Napoleon and Waterloo. So Armageddon here is not talking about the end of the world. It's talking about Satan and his forces making this last-ditch stand to try to fight God. Revelation 16:7 says it is done. So at this point, the story of Revelation has basically been told. And that story is that there's going to be a time of persecution. God's going to let it go on for a while. And God hasn't forgotten about those that are being persecuted. Many will die in the persecution. And this is the means by which the church is spread. The church is not defeated. And when the time comes, God will take care of the Roman Empire. And also Satan. Chapters 17 through 19 are kind of like Paul Harvey's the rest of the story. It kind of gives us more information than what we just talked about. And I'm going to kind of gloss over that. I'm not really cover that very much. But in 17, it talks about a woman who's a harlot. It's a city. Well, this is talking about the city of Rome. Chapter 18 also talks more about Rome. Chapter 20, we see 1,000 years that Satan is bound. Now, has Satan always been bound or limited? Yeah. Well, look at Job. God controls the bounds on Satan. So, what this is saying about binding Satan is that God is not going to let Satan use another world empire like he did with the Romans. He's saying, you can't do that anymore. I mean, has the church been persecuted by a worldwide empire after the Romans? No. It's been persecuted, but not by a worldwide empire. Also have a 1,000-year reign. A lot of people say this 1,000-year reign is on earth. But if we look in Revelation, this reign is in heaven, it's not on earth. Pilate asked Jesus, he said, are you a king? Jesus said, yes, but my kingdom is not of this world. So the 1,000-year reign is in heaven, it's not on earth. Okay, we're going to kind of skip the rest of Revelation here. You can kind of read that on your own. So, if the book of Revelation was written primarily to Christians being persecuted during the time of the Roman Empire 2,000 years ago, what can we learn from it today? When I was a teenager, my father took my brother and I to see the Harlem Globetrotters, and they were really funny, and they could do some really amazing things with basketball. And when you go to see the Harlem Globetrotters, you know who's going to win. Who's going to win? The Harlem Globetrotters. That's right. I always like White Larkin. Heard of the That's the way it is in Revelation, too. We know who wins. God wins. We're on His team, so we win too. But sometimes it seems like we think, and we also act like Satan is winning. And we see all the chaos, and we see the moral decadence, and we see all this stuff that's going on in the world, and we hear people talking about the decline and the irreverence of the church, and we think, wow, I wonder if God really winning? But as we've seen, as we've sprinted through Revelation this morning, that God is all-powerful. He's able to control the affairs of men, and Satan and his old cronies, they're no match for him. So they don't have a chance. I'm going to use the Harlem Globetrotters as a kind of analogy this morning. Let's say the Harlem Globetrotters are Christians, as we see in the book of Revelation, and they're on the winning team. And the other team is no match. The game is already decided. And there's Christians that get out and they play every game. Sometimes they play well, sometimes they don't play so well. But no matter what happens, the Christians, like the Globetrotters, they're on the winning team. They win every time. And we have some people that are on the bench. They're not playing, not in the game. And some of them may be new Christians, they just haven't had the nerve to jump in yet. I think new Christians should realize that there's no need to fear getting in the game. Right? We're going to win. We can play good, we can play bad, no matter what happens, we win. And also on the bench are some players that used to play a lot, and they just sit on the bench now. And they have various reasons for that, some valid and some maybe excuses. This group, I'd say maybe it's time to get back in the game. And in the stands, there's some that have heard about the game, and they come to the game, but they haven't joined the team yet. And they're thinking about joining the team, playing, and someday maybe they will. And then there's some that used to play the game. They don't play anymore. They don't come anymore. Probably just shouldn't even mention them because they're probably out doing something else this morning. But if one were to come in this morning, say you're missing a great game, and it's over, there's going to be this great celebration. I hope you're there. And hopefully, there's not anybody from the other team this morning. But if they are, I would say you better switch teams because you're going to be a big loser. And the question we should ask ourselves then is, which one of these persons am I? Am I in the game and playing? Am I about to play? Am I retired from playing? Am I about to join the team, or did I used to play? Now I don't even care. I'm on the other team. Now, earlier, due to time constraints, we skipped the letters that John was to write to the 7 churches of Asia. And in those letters, Jesus tells John to write to them and say, "You've forsaken your first love. Some are committing immoral acts, some are tolerating immoral acts, you're dead and lukewarm." But in each of these letters, Jesus gives a message of hope. He says, "To him who overcomes, I will give the right to eat the tree of life. He who overcomes will not be hurt by the second death. I will give him a white stone with a new name written on it. I will give authority over the nations. He who overcomes will be dressed in white. I will never blot out his name from the book of life. He who overcomes, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God. To him who overcomes, I will give the right to sit with me on the throne." It's time to join the team. It's time to get in the game. It's time to get back in the game. Or, if someone's on the other time, it's time to switch and get on the winning team. In the end, God wins. And all of those on His team are winners. If you would like to join the team this morning, you can do so as we stand and sing the song.